Hi everybody, Martin, the teaching professional at Southwark Park Golf Club. This week's little video is about wedges and more importantly wedge sets. So the first question you've probably got to ask yourself is, do I need a wedge set? So the criteria for that probably would be is how far you hit the ball. So let's just say you hit a 7-iron 150 yards through the air, you probably need a wedge set because at that bottom end of the bag everything's too powerful, so you're going to have to start thinking about adding in wedges and how that makes sense to your set. So here's my, I currently have 4 wedges in my bag. I think it's probably about the most I've ever had, but it's probably what I've had in the bag for a long time. So that's pitch, gap, sand, lob. So they're all in 4-degree incremental changes. The lob wedge could have been 60 if I wanted to, because it's almost like a whole separate club. So for the people that maybe don't need a wedge set, you may well need a lob wedge. That could get you out of a lot of trouble and could be handy in lots of certain situations. So my 50 is my gap wedge. Sometimes I've had a few of these short game clinics and people have pulled out their 50 or their 52 thinking it is their lob wedge because it's a bladed wedge, and maybe they say they've got a set of pings. Everything's got a big sort of heavy soled bottom to it, and they've added in one extra wedge, which is a great idea for the tight lies. But think about what number that is, and that's why people like me really need to help you. Let's work out what your pitching wedge is, and then we can work out what your gap, sand and lob should be. So around playing with these clubs is really, they're going to do 3 different things for you. So first off, on a specialist wedge set, they're always going to have a bounce number. So my advice to you is keep the bounce low in the gap wedge, keep the bounce high to mid in the sand and lob wedge if that's the one you're going to use in a bunker, because you're going to need that bounce, and bounce is the radius part of the sole. The bounce, the least bounce is how tight the bottom edge will sit to the ground. So in my pitching wedge there is hardly any bounce, so that's going to be fantastic from a little bald lie from the edge of the green. Same with my gap. My sand and my lob need a little bit more grass under the ball because they've got quite a lot of bounce on them. So your first job always when you come to a shot and assess your shot you've got to hit into the green, lie 1. Once you've looked at the lie, and then you can decide what club, landing area 2. So let's just hit a couple of these shots quickly. So what we're looking at really is changes in elevation, spin and stopping distance. So pitching wedge is obviously going to come out a bit lower, run on more and stop less. My gap wedge probably is one of the more commonly used ones from around the green. It's got 50 degrees of loft compared to my 46 degrees pitching wedge. It's going to be higher, softer, a little bit more spin. Also, this obviously is used for full shots as well. I mean full shots, I mean it's my 100-yard club. So this is 54, this is my most used sand iron, unless I'm near the face of the bunker. At the same time, I think probably my most used chipping club, because especially this time of year as the greens are starting to firm up, you do need a bit more stop. And this little just shot up into this green here, I'm always going to be better off with a slightly softer, higher, floatier shot. So that's that. Lob wedge really almost is a club on its own. Not everyone should have one. I'm going to show you why not everyone should have one. Whoa! I've got to put quite a lot of force through it. So if I get my technique wrong, she's going, and she's going fast, because you're going to hit the edge, going to shoot off like a rocket, probably cause you all sorts of problems. So lob wedge is used with care, like in the right situation, fantastic from a greenside bunker. Obviously, softest, floatiest shot, and in this instance, probably my weapon of choice probably for this type of shot. So you can see, you know, there's 4 shots reasonable. They've all got a chance to be knocked in. Do you need a wedge set? So wedges can be fitted, and I think they always should be. I chose to have the same shaft in my wedges that I have in my irons. I don't really know why, more for vanity probably, but I kept them all the same, especially in a full shot. They need to be heavy, they need to be relatively stiff. Here's the other thing about custom fitting. All my clubs are 1/2 inch longer, so is my gap and my sand. I chose to keep the lob wedge shorter because on the whole I'm down and low with these shots, and I don't need to hit many full shots. I try not to hit a lob wedge full power. It's just not worth it. You never would get the control. So if you want any questions about wedges, you want a wedge fitting, or there are some fitting components, TaylorMade and Cleveland, I have fitting parts for you to try wedges. You can try weight, shaft length, bounce, that sort of thing. So you will find it interesting. Hopefully you'll find this tiny little video of some use to you. And as always, on the What's On page there will be added some short game instructional clinics, which I think most people have enjoyed quite a lot. You can pick up quite a lot of good technique from that. So thanks for watching. See you all next week. Hello everybody, Miles here, the professional at Southwark Park Golf Club. Day job number 2. I just thought I'd use this moment while I'm doing something to explain weight shifts and power shifts, which are universal in both sports. So the same as golf and the same for boxing. So Lucas Banningle, English light welterweight champion, soon to be much greater. I just wanted to show you something about shifting weight and transferring power. Right, Luke? What you do is just throw a backhand with your foot on the ground. All right, just to shift. And again. Now, if I get Lucas to shift weight and rotate his body, it'll have double the power. And again, Luke. Okay. So the same with your golf swing. As you shift hips and transfer weight, you get much more power. This is going to be a really short video. I've now got the cure for slow play. We're just going to open up. Ready, let's go. 2. Uppercut, hook, backhand. Right hand, let's do it right hand. Hook, hook, backhand. Uppercut, hook, backhand. Jab. 3. Honestly, that isn't the cure for slow play. It's waiting for the next tee and letting the group behind go through. Cheers, everybody. See you all next week.